Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Spotlight. Today is about transforming challenges into inspiration with Tolu Ekwe. Today is season 2, episode 5 of Spotlight. I have the immense pleasure of having Eni Osong, the coordinator and the co-author of Lessons We Learned from COVID-19, the fantastic book that has recently been published. I have Jasmine Ofori, our social media specialist, and we're going to use her experience in our show today again. And ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure of giving you Tolu Ekwe, the family life coach and the best-selling author. Best-selling author of which book? Lessons We Learned from COVID-19. It's a pleasure to have you on our show today, Tolu. How are you doing today? You okay?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to have you. So, Eni, how are you today?
Good. I'm good. Yeah, Saturday is always a good day. So we had Toulouse audio room earlier. And,
I was on that show. It was fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah, that's a good day. And of course, being here is fun as well. So my Saturday evening, it's perfect.
Perfect. I heard you had KFC today.
I still got 4 bits left.
I'm not going to lie, I'm jealous. So, Jasmine, how are you today? You okay?
Yes, I'm doing good. Thank you very much. And yourself?
I feel great. Thank you so much. Can I be not okay when I'm amongst you amazing men and women of knowledge and experience? Of course, I'm great. I'm feeling fantastic actually. So, Tolu, tell us a little bit about your background. I learned quite a few things about you on your show from earlier on LinkedIn, and I'm certain that people are going to find it very, very interesting. If you kindly share those things with our viewers and listeners again. You have quite a versatile background and different things. Go ahead, tell us.
Right. I do have quite a versatile background. Thank you so much, Cyrus. It's good to be here. And thank you so much, everyone. Eni, Jasmine, lovely to be sharing the stage with you on this show. So, I live in Abuja, Nigeria. I am a pharmacist by training. So that's part of my versatile background. In fact, when COVID-19 hit, that's what I was doing. I was practicing as a clinical pharmacist in a well-renowned hospital, and I was the head of pharmacy at the time. However, while it was a scary time for everybody, imagine. It was very scary for us, but we were led by a team of really remarkable people. I must mention that they were very inspiring. You know what it's like to be, it was like going into war, I imagine. I don't know, I'm not a soldier. It felt like we don't know exactly what we're dealing with, but all hands have to be on deck. So that's what it was. And we just faced what was in front of us. I remember having to produce some of the chemicals that were going to be needed, hand sanitizers, etc. Things that we were not sure how to go about, but we had to figure things out and we had to make things work. And at the end of the day, it was very encouraging. But it was also challenging for family life. I had little kids at the time, how to balance their schooling with all that work. It was challenging. So I think that was probably where COVID hit at the time for me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tolu. I remember I actually considered frying my eggs in hand sanitizer. No, I'm only joking. So people took it really they took it too far, didn't they? People were wearing the masks in the while swimming and everything.
It was crazy. It was.
Well, yeah, if there's one quality in human beings that you shouldn't underestimate is the power of humanity in taking things too far sometimes. So so well, yeah, it was a bittersweet experience. Some people might call it unnecessary experience, but yeah, we had to go through it. We had to go through it, and we learned about each other more than we learned about the disease, because the disease was nothing new. It existed since 60s, at least different forms of it since 60s, and it came back around to give us a fresh experience and refresh our memories, perhaps. And as they say, people who don't learn from the history are doomed to repeat it. And we didn't learn from what COVID did in the past, and unfortunately, we had to repeat it. It was so shocking, not as shocking as calling the source bats in China. But anyway, extreme times, extreme measures, right? Sometimes it wasn't. Some people say that they were disappointed in science, but it wasn't the science that people were actually disappointed in. It was the scientists.
Right.
Science never disappoints. Scientists sometimes do. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all of the amazing people who joined us across all platforms: YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and I want to say hello to Jasmine Ofori's fans and followers on her Facebook as well, and her LinkedIn too. So, Jew Digital is one of our fantastic sponsors. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. So, everyone went through COVID-19, and not many people did what you did. You documented people's memories and experiences, and put it in such a beautiful package. And your efforts gave birth to this phenomenal book. I love it, and I love it for a reason. I love it because it's honest, and it's quite candid. The language that has been used in this book is quite candid, and everyone's been honest in this book. And there's 10, is it total 10 or 11? I think it's
10. A perfect 10.
Yeah, absolutely. So the book, Lessons We Learned from COVID-19, is available on Amazon. Those of you who haven't purchased your copy yet, go for it. Please buy 2 copies, not just one. Give the gift of a book to someone else as well. Christmas is around the corner. Whether you celebrate Christmas or not, it's a good excuse to give someone a gift, right? It's the festive season. Why not? So buy yourself one, and buy one for somebody you care about and somebody who's important to you. So, Annie, please tell us what incentivized you or what inspired you to create the book. Almost everyone was expecting you to create the book just on your own, but you surprised everyone actually, and you created an anthology. How did that come about, and what inspired you and incentivized you to create the book?
Yeah, I suppose COVID was a story that affected everyone. It's a moment in time that affected everyone, right? Yeah, and I think we do have to speak about these things. I guess when it comes to writing books, yes, we tend to want to do it ourselves, but I think my now my aim and Dr. Ava's aim when we thought about writing the book, which was my business partner at the time, was to write a rich book, a book rich of with rich stories. Now, individually, we've all got a story to tell. I think now together we to tell more powerful stories. Because now what you have now is, I guess, a great selection of stories from people around the world. I said the 10 of us. You have got views from literally everywhere. Nigeria, US, UK. Actually, there's more, right? I said Caribbean as well. We didn't quite get to Nate and someone from Asia. We tried, but what can you do? But this, with the lovely authors that we have, people like Tolu, we have a great diversity of stories, and I think we'll learn more the more and the better stories that we hear. So that's our thinking, really. How do we truly capture the moment? How do we capture the lessons that we're going to need to help us learn? Like I always say to Cyrus, one pandemic happens, guess what? There'll be another one. That's almost guaranteed. And only by having these lovely authors from around the world can we tell the stories that it's going to truly help humanity. And also it saves me writing 150 pages myself, Cyrus. I'm not going to lie, right? The more writers you have, the easier it is for you to complete your book. If it was just me, I'm sure you should be waiting for me to finish the book right now, right? Whereas when you got people, creative people who are passionate about helping humanity, then yes, there's a challenge in working in group work always, but that's life, right? It's much easier to work as a group to create genius than to work by yourself and create something that's okay. That's a joy for me.
This book is more than okay, my brother. You did a great job there.
Yeah, I always say that's thanks to the superstars who are in the book, really. And as even on the show, I will say that people like Tulu, last week we talked to Chanda. They're the true stars. Zion, who we've met, they're the true stars. I could just stand back and let them shine because they're stars already, right?
Absolutely. So, Tolu, in your chapter, you've talked about leadership lessons. Would you mind expanding on the leadership lessons that you learned or witnessed the changes regarding?
Okay. So I would, but just before I do, I want to just answer any and say that's not true. Any is amazing. Any coordinated stuff, wonderful. I can't even imagine what it's like to have people from different parts of the world chiming in on the same book and having all those deadlines and getting things done. He is the superstar, whether he likes it or not. That's the truth. And back to the question. So for leadership, what I saw was in crisis, I think that's when you really get the true test of leadership. Anybody can claim to be a leader, anybody can coordinate things when everything makes sense. But when there's chaos, when you don't know what's coming next, when you can't tell, you're worried about your safety and the safety of the people you're leading, there's so much to give into. You could give into fear, anxiety, doubt, panic, but instead you have to find a way to put all that aside and think, what do I do to make sure everybody gets okay? What do I do to keep everybody safe? And I saw that happen in the hospital where I was working. I saw that happen with the leaders who had to take charge, especially the managing director of the company that I was working with, the hospital I was working with, the medical director, as well as other doctors and healthcare professionals who were leading. And so I also was leading in my own capacity as the head of pharmacy at the time. And I mean, in Nigerian parlance, we say you don't want to forehand. That's like you don't want to disappoint. So you just kind of, it's easier to lead when you have good leaders around you as well. So I could not give in to fear, and there was a lot of fear. I had a lot to worry about. Like I told you, I had 3 kids who were out of school, who needed to be monitored at home, and somehow I was doing a lot of work in the hospital. And even when I was at home, I was still coordinating a lot of things, in the hospital. So it was quite demanding, but it was also very rewarding to see how systems that work were helping people. However, on a national level, I also saw both sides. I saw things going really well on one hand, and then I saw where a lot could have been done better, where people could have stepped up and taken responsibility in time, being proactive rather than just reactive and waiting for things to happen. So, yeah, all that I think I captured a bit from the book.
Fantastic. So now I'm really glad the only challenge you had was to monitor your kids. Many parents have problems further than just monitoring them. Your kids are well behaved.
Yeah, they tried. We did a lot of, so this was very interesting because again, so you see the transformation, the adapting that we had to do. These are children that I usually would supervise face to face. I'd have conversations face to face. I now had to be going on to Google Meet and Zoom to ask them what's happening with your class. Okay, are you done with this one? And all that. It was quite a different experience. But somehow we got through it. And children are very, very resilient. It's amazing.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for that fantastic share. I just wanted to say, you've referred in the book. You referred to something about family and the importance of it. So, would you mind expanding on that a little bit about how being a mother before COVID transformed into being a mother during and post COVID? How did that role change, and for yourself and many other amazing mothers out there, and also a little bit about the importance of family during and after the COVID as well, please.
Thank you. Great question. I think that before COVID, and I mean, before COVID, we considered that normal, right? Normal life was busy. You just did everything, or at least I did, and I know many people did, just did everything that was in front of you. You just hit the next thing and hit the next thing. And you don't really, or I didn't really realize how important it was to prioritize my family over certain things. So, work, for example, or just other interests, you just do the things and think family will always be there. And one of the things that hit me, to my mind, was if there's anything that I have that I'm afraid of losing in this chaos, it's my family. That's the one thing that would really hurt to lose. Like, all of a sudden, it didn't matter if I lost my job or if I lost any other thing, something else could replace it. But family, no, and it became clear. And I think what that did was all of a sudden the priorities just rearranged themselves, and I knew it was important to take care of family. It was important to look out for family and to be there for them. And that was more important than virtually anything else. And so I think that is a lesson that I hope, because after COVID, we all wanted to get back to normal. But I think for many of us, it became clear that normal wasn't okay. That
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means. And we had to redefine normal, because normal has to be that I'm ready to prioritize my family, even if it means changing jobs. And after COVID, I did change jobs. I did pull out because my husband is very involved in the hospital setting. And I'm like, if I'm also doing the same, then who's going to raise our kids? No,
I'm
somebody
almost
has to.
certain he had a challenging time during COVID because he wasn't working in the hospital.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, at a point, he came down with COVID, and that was a very scary experience for me, because we decided it was better to isolate at home, because at the time it seemed like we were not sure what was going on when people isolated in the hospitals. We were a bit scared.
Yeah.
We thought, okay, you know what, let's do this at home so that you don't pick up more of whatever this is from someone else. And, yeah, so that's what we did, and I'm just grateful that we didn't have the terrible outcome that many people did.
Yeah, of course. My heart and soul goes to the families of the men and women and children who were lost during COVID. We are sorry for your loss, and obviously, loss is not something you're going to get over overnight. It's going to be with you for ages. And my message to fantastic people who are watching this live or recorded for the years to come, I just want to tell you, I feel your pain. Not because I also lost a family member during COVID, but because of the fact that you never get over loss, but you will learn how to live with it one day at a time. One day at a time. If you feel talking about it helps, please open up and talk to someone, right? Sometimes you have to allow people to help you. And you opening up to people, talking to someone like Ennio Sung, he has time for you. He's a very busy person, but he has time. He will give you his time. Jasmine Ofori, Tolu Ekwe, please find someone kind like these people, and they will listen to you. And a problem shared is a problem halved, right? So now, two questions. One comment and two questions. So one comment and one question, sorry. I've got Michelle, who mentioned, Michelle Bodenhorn, who mentioned we learned. That is something I'm almost certain that we all agree that we learned, right? On a personal level. A very important question that Jay Pasqua just mentioned. People learn personal lessons, but did governments and healthcare industries do the same? So that's a question for you, Tolu, I suppose. And after you, I will go to Annie and then to Jasmine. So what is your response to that? Did our governments and healthcare industries learn, really? If you were to give us a percentage?
Oh no, I wouldn't be able to do that. not on. I wouldn't be able to do that. But it's a good question, and it's something that really raises concern. Did we learn? Did we learn the right things? Did we learn to really realize that we could be better? We could be proactive. And in the book, I also raised that, we have to think ahead. That's what leadership is about. That you can't just. I can't. The population, the people you're leading, can't be just as shocked as you are. All of us are just, oh, shocked. I wonder what happened. No, that leadership needs to be that you're able to predict, you're able to think ahead, you're able to plan ahead, and you're able to have the resources available to take care of stuff when things happen like that, and even to prevent them. We need to start thinking prevention. We need to start thinking, how can we protect our people? How can we prevent things from happening? I don't think we saw enough of that. And what bothers me is right now we're back to peacetime. Are we doing anything to make sure that if it happens again, like Annie mentioned, that we would be ready? I don't know. I really cannot say that I see that much. But I don't know.
To be fair, it's one of those things. You can never be ready for such a catastrophe on such a scale, right? I can't blame the government and the healthcare system for being shocked, because it was a shock to the system. My dad's never seen such a thing. His dad never saw such a thing, and their mom and their dad and their mom never saw such a thing. So our ancestors didn't see such a thing for ages, right? At least it wasn't present in my life, my dad's life, and his dad's life, right? As long as I know. as far as I know. But some stuff happened during COVID that was preventable, like the PPE contracts, that the masks that was purchased at silly rates. And the government didn't even care how much they were buying it for, because they were panic buying, right? They didn't consider the fact that it is our tax money that is in their hands. Okay, it's not their own money; it is the tax money. So the taxpayer is monitoring you. Okay, don't waste it, and they did waste it. And then there are rumors that some people got some contracts that they weren't supposed to, and they didn't. And because of the fact that they weren't qualified to be in that position, they didn't deliver properly, and some of them they didn't deliver at all in some countries. So we found out that our governments and our health systems let us down a bit, because they didn't act with care, at least not 100%, because they were panicking. But giving contract to someone and through tribalism and things like that is not a fair thing to do, and it can't be justified in any shape or form anyway. So those are the things that we have witnessed, and I hope we learned from them. Okay, and I don't think our government learned enough, because when there was an inquiry, public inquiry into COVID stuff, they came in front of the camera, some of them, and said, "Oh, we are very sorry. We were partying in our offices when everybody else was in lockdown, and we are very sorry. Yeah, we fined people for doing the same thing that we were doing." So some people were fined because of being involved in parties or gatherings, and then the government themselves were doing the same thing. So I'm not entirely sure if the government learned, but our kind of reformed national health system, National Health Service, certainly learned a thing or two about something as horrible as COVID-19. I think our health system learned more than the government did, because they were more hands-on with the COVID, and we have casualties amongst the nurses and doctors. Imagine going to work and never going back home to your family in work, right? So some of us are alive because some doctors and nurses didn't survive, right? They provided the care. They were exposed to that thing, to that virus, and they couldn't help it. At the very beginning, the PPE that was necessary, it wasn't given to people. So I hope our government learned, and I hope our National Health System, National Health Service learned from the mistakes that was made, so we wouldn't have to repeat them, right? And in order to avoid casualties, further casualties that is avoidable. Thank you, Tolu. So do you reckon that fantastic question that Jay asked, what was it? Did our governments and health system, health service learn from the COVID-19?
Who knows, my friend? Who knows, all right? It's in the UK, we've changed government since. I'm saying, I'm sure in the US as well. So other places in the world, those who were in power then, hopefully they learned something. According to whether that would lead to practical change, only goodness knows. But I think the book was I think the book showed us that we have to change ourselves. Individual change is what it's all about, really. If you read the book, you find that all of us found fundamental changes that we've made to our lives. That's a true story, right? So for some it was things that affect society or the community. I'm thinking of Zion's farming for example, which fed the local people rather than just himself and his family. As Sulu mentioned earlier, we've learned the power of relationships. We've learned the power of the power of now. Actually doing things right now rather than waiting to tomorrow, because tomorrow may never come. Tomorrow, COVID showed us that we could literally disappear and be on the other side of the grass tomorrow morning, right? So it is what we do as individuals. We can wait for the government to do what the government does. It may help, it may not help, but if we really want to progress in life, we must take responsibility for ourselves.
Of course, on paper, your government is employed by you, right? They are working for you.
But the government's a machine, though, Cyrus. It's a machine, and I guess a machine can get many things wrong,
which has targets,
and many things right. I think it's very in a thing like a pandemic, and there's a national inquiry here that's going on right now, right, about COVID. Which does it affect our lives? Let's hope they find some things they can do better. In the grand scheme of things, we have to find the ways to save ourselves. There's things that we can say that the government helped with. But it all depends on, I guess, how you choose to see things, right? I'm talking about the vaccine, for example.
Right.
Some people see it as a blessing, some see it as a curse, and that's even in the book. Some people have a whole different point of view about the vaccines, for example. It was I chose to see it as what's the word? The brilliance of science. They found a vaccine that essentially, worked, and they found a vaccine in a matter of, in double quick time, like never before, right?
Yeah.
That's created a template to create vaccines in the future, which we hope will work. But again, so some people will look at you and say, right, that process, that quick process, meant things may not have been done as scrupulously as they would be otherwise, right? So some people do come unstuck, but that's that's almost a moot point to me. Those of us who survive, we have to find a way to keep doing the right thing, to future-proof ourselves against what's going to come again, sooner or later, right? But again, that comes down to things like we can do build relationships, find our sense of purpose, find the importance of being human in a human world. I think many people forgot how to be human for a while, but COVID sort of brought back the importance of relationships with our family, people that we know, and the people around us.
Yeah,
they still suddenly couldn't see them or actually meet them in person. We suddenly realize, oh, they're quite important. Those who lost people suddenly, there was suddenly a realization that, the people that we knew, that we know, are important. Our thing is to basically build on what we'd learned, and hope that we have a rounded view enough. The last I'll say on this, for now anyway, is that people think our governments are those people, right? But I guess I'm always one to think our governments are a reflection of us.
Absolutely. Governments are made of people, right?
Yeah, and I think that we have to, with the right intentions, with the right values, then we almost, whether we vote or choose the right governments, the governments don't appear out of nowhere. That's for all of us to develop that humanity and place humanity in our relationships and our values above all else. And then we get the governments that we want, that will reflect our values, rather than this government thing that's out there, of weird people.
When it comes to the vaccine, if you pay attention to the definition of vaccine. It's something that it's a substance they inject to you, so your immune system is kind of stirred up and gets activated, or shall I say reactivated? It's always active anyway. Gets reactivated or stirred up, so you wouldn't get a disease, or if you've got a disease, it heals you up, right? And like polio, like if you inoculated against polio, you won't get it again. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Tolu.
Yeah. So it depends on the type of vaccine, but yeah, essentially that's what
Yeah.
they do.
So based on that definition, did we finally invent a vaccine for COVID?
So that is still not very clear, because while we did get some degree of immunity, you notice that there were people who started to succumb after getting
yeah.
the vaccine who did not even have any challenges before. So you start to wonder, that's not supposed to happen, because the vaccines are supposed to help boost your immunity so that when you are now exposed to the actual virus, you are equipped to fight it off. But when that is now, when the vaccine seems to be weakening the immunity or causing a window to open that wasn't open before, then you start to wonder, did something go wrong? Was this vaccine used? What happened? And so there were a lot of questions raised as a result. So then there was also the booster, take 2 boosters or 3 boosters and all of that. And
So
if the one weakening us, then what's the second one going to do? Is it going to make us...
it is not unheard of. It is not unheard of to have a booster for a vaccine, right?
No.
So
No,
some vaccines you have to do them every 10 years or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Up to a certain age. But this vaccine, apparently it left a lot to be desired, right?
Yes.
So so I know people, including my own family and friends, right? I know people who actually got COVID, got the vaccine. Again, they got COVID, and then they got the vaccine.
Yeah.
And so the vaccine is accused of many things. One of them is not being 100% effective. Well, I don't think any vaccine is 100% effective, as far as I know. And there is an opposing side who says, well, it is effective, it is helping, and it is helping. It helped many people. And then again, there is another opposing side that says, well, it resulted in some deaths. And again, some opposing view says, well, many people showed what's the word? Negative side effects. They died as a result of it. So, with everything said and done, to this day, I don't think we have a vaccine that actually cures people from COVID-19 and or stops them from getting the disease again, right? So I hope we can see the day when we invent something that there's another example here, guys. Tanique Easy says, I got vaccinated against measles and I still caught it. So yes, Tanique, as I mentioned, I don't know any vaccine that is 100% has got 100% efficacy. We don't know. We don't know what we don't know. So there are things that is still unknown about it. And one of the things that was a challenge and turned into inspiration was taking humanity from having no vaccine to some vaccine, some form. We have invented something, and that is inspiration. So we went from zero, from nothing, to some sort of vaccines, at least a couple of versions of it, and hopefully we will perfect those methods and will invent something. Again, I've got people in the chat who are saying, I agree, Cyrus, no vaccine is 100%. That's absolutely correct. And you've got to, regardless of your view, you've got to look at the issue from both sides, okay? And that is the definition of maturity for me, right? So you should be able to bring everyone into the conversation so you can use everyone's genius, right? Me, Jasmine, yourself, and Annie, we don't all agree on everything. However, we've gathered around to have a conversation about this. So the next question is for Jasmine. So Jasmine, any challenges that you've noticed that turned into inspiration during COVID or at any other point in your life? Would you please talk to us about those? Any time in your life that you've gone through a challenge that turned into inspiration, or other people went through a challenge, they turned into inspiration?
Okay, I was very much inspired by Tolu's story. I was reading about how she was talking about, relationships in the view that, if you like somebody, it's much easier for you to, ride the challenges with them than if you don't like somebody. And it, I admire her relationship with, her husband and her children. I think it's beautiful, and it's something that I aspire to, when I get there. Challenges like finding the right people to support you. I think that that's what I had during my time during COVID. Essentially, I would say at the time it happened, I didn't feel I had the right support around me. So it was a bit isolating. And going forward, that challenge has inspired me to build a community around me online and, in my small little local town, to support people, to collaborate with people, and basically, bring out the best in both of us in terms of the value that we bring. Because when we work together, we go far. If you want to go faster, like they say, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go with people. So the challenge I had was building good relationships, and it's helped me to reflect on, the circle around me and the people I want to move with going forward. So that's the challenge I faced during COVID-19.
Absolutely. You know, when it comes to the way human beings behave, we sometimes are too similar to other species. Just to give you an example, I mean, this COVID taught me this, right? When you look at a cattle, a group of buffaloes, when they are chased by a predator, they run at a certain speed, right? They have every animal has a maximum speed, right? But when they are being chased by predators, it's not about the maximum speed. A cattle or buffalo runs as fast as the slowest member of that cattle, because they never leave anybody behind, right? So the same thing happened to human beings. Some countries were like, yes, we've had the least amount of casualties. And then what happened was that virus was imported into the country through their borders, and in their infinite wisdom, they hadn't closed their borders down, unlike what New Zealand did from the get-go. And then they ended up having one of the highest numbers of casualties in their countries. So we needed, obviously we didn't know it back then, but we needed some sort of international collaboration. There was competition during COVID, right? There was competition, and some countries made money out of each other, which is embarrassing, right? Because they would sell, they would give their overflow of their PPE and masks and stuff, and sell it at a higher price to other nations, which is terrible thing to do. And it's not something they would openly admit to right now. That's how bad it is. They're not admitting to it, right? So one of the things that we learned is that we were supposed to complete each other and control the virus, and we competed with each other, and that is something we learned. It's not inspiring at all, but it is inspiring now for this generation. It is inspiring now, and that was a challenge. Now the mistake that the previous generation did, previous governments did, now inspires us. So something negative turns into a positive experience. We learned from it, and as long as we teach our kids that what they did was wrong, hopefully they wouldn't repeat it, right? So it was a challenging situation, and it was certainly inspiring as well, because there was a lot of failures because of the fact people were shocked, the systems were shocked. But I am really, really grateful that it didn't turn into a massive extinction event, and majority of us survived. Okay, some of us unfortunately and sadly succumbed to the disease, but majority of us continued to live. And I want to thank our doctors and our healthcare professionals, nurses, that helped us understand that doctors and nurses are famous for being selfless, but boy, oh boy, some of them gave us their lives, right? They sacrificed themselves for us, and my heart and soul goes to their families. It's just a beautiful profession. Being a doctor and being a nurse is just a phenomenal thing. And but that they are one of the more beautiful sides of humanity, doctors and nurses. So in terms of the audiobook, is there any plans for creating the audiobook? The book's been out for a while, and is there any plans for the audiobook? Everyone's waiting for the audiobook to come out, because me included, because the number of voices, 10 different voices and views, right, has made this book beautiful, right? It's not just from one person's point of view. It's so versatile, this book. It's just unbelievable. Is there any plans for creating the audiobook?
I would love to do an audiobook, and we probably will do an audiobook. Look, I think the beauty of having 10 authors is also the challenge in creating an audiobook. An anthology, different voices. I guess I'm trying to work out a way where we're going to have something consistent and reliable. And I'm trying. Basically, what I'm trying to say, I don't. It doesn't make sense to me to have one reader for the book. Almost like each author has to create their own audiobook for their chapter.
It's eclectic, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the only way I can see it working. But that's a process, right? Totally, news to you, right? Each author has to read their chapter, and then we might have almost 10 separate audiobooks, to make up the big series, the big book, if you want to look at it that way. It's like I say, it wouldn't make sense to try and do one big audiobook that doesn't involve all 10 authors finding a way to read a chapter. But looking at, I guess, in a group thing, like, in a group exercise like this, if we get, if we can bring anything upwards of 6 chapters in audio, I'll be quite happy with that. 6 out of 10 is not bad, right? 2 out of 3 is not bad.
6 is almost certain, right? And okay, yeah, I look forward to this because I cannot wait to see to hear these amazing men and women who actually been involved in this book reading their own chapters, and it's just fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen who are watching or listening to this episode, this book, which is available on Amazon right now, guys.
Yeah,
this book is fantastic. I enjoyed it, and that's why I'm recommending it to you guys, right? I enjoyed it so much, I wrote a song about it, right? I'm going to play a little bit of that song for you guys.
Tilla's got her chapter. I got mine. I've always got mine. Yeah, you should too, Tilla.
La, 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 la. Our hopes married our fears, and our minds divorced our sanity. Later on we found out the dodgy vaccine was just another thing of vanity. Lost our faith in humanity. We struggled to get used to our tragic and new reality. The vaccine made some richer, made some sicker, but it didn't save humanity. Isolation and frustration felt by every nation. No one seemed to enjoy the circus of inoculation. Made in a lab in the 60s, but they called it a Chinese innovation. Winter of frustration felt by every sick nation. No chance of survival for some, no hope for salvation. The lessons we learned from COVID-19. Promises were broken, the virus was mean. We kept our masks on, we kept our hands clean. These are the lessons we learned from COVID-19. Locked in our homes, we saw the world change fast. What we thought would save us, it didn't last. Masks and distance, fear in every glance. We were dancing blindfolded, we never stood a chance to win with elegance. Fear spread like wildfire across every station. Hope felt like a distant, fading sensation. No answers were clear, just more complication. Winter dragged on and on, testing every generation. We found out in the end it's not about the cure, but how we rise again and what we can endure. In the loss we found each other, a truth so divine. These are the lessons of our time. We put our faith in our governments, put our faith in the big pharma. We lost our parents, our kids, our jobs, and called it fate and karma. The lessons we learned from COVID-19. Promises were broken, the virus was mean. We kept our masks on, we kept our hands clean. These are the lessons we learned from COVID-19. Lessons we learned from COVID-19. Promises were broken, the virus was mean. We kept our masks on, we kept our hands clean. These are the lessons we learned from COVID-19.
So these are the lessons we learned from COVID-19. So I hope you like the song. So as I said before, guys, I love this songs. I love this book so much. I wrote a song about it. Michelle says we rise again. Yes, of course we'll rise again. We have rise again, guys. Lessons we learned from COVID-19 is available on Amazon. For those of us who haven't purchased it yet, guys, you still have the chance to make a purchase. And as I said before, please buy 2. So it's before Christmas time. Please buy yourself one, and buy one for somebody you care about. Your spouse, your friend, your family member, your neighbor. And the other day, I gifted a book to someone who was working in my local shop at the till. So I paid for my juice and give them one book. And this girl was nearly in tears, and she couldn't believe it. And she was like, "Is it for me?" I was like, "I don't see anybody else around here. It's for you. I put it in your hands, didn't I? It's for you. Of course, it's for you." And she was so impressed. Like, in a couple of weeks' time, I'll go to the same shop and find out if she's read it or not. And the point is, sometimes a book makes someone's day, right? You never know. They could need a book, right? So in today's world, when we are drowning in information, but we are thirsty for knowledge, a book can sometimes help a person. Give the gift of a book. And better yet, lessons we learned from COVID-19, right? It's not just about the COVID. It's not just about COVID. You learn leadership. You learn about resilience in this book, right? So the book is available on Amazon. Jasmine just posted the address here. And all you need to do is just go to Amazon, not the forest, the website, and you you will find the book Lessons We Learned from COVID-19 on Amazon. So the next thing I wanted to discuss with Tolu is you mentioned something about empathy in your chapter, and how the mental well-being, mental health was affected, and how what was the role of empathy in this whole mayhem of COVID-19? What was your experience?
You're on mute. Hold on. Is it me or you're on mute?
I am.
You're
not.
back. You're back again.
Okay.
We lost your sound for a second.
Okay. Sorry about that. So I think one of the things was about COVID-19 was the isolation, the lockdown, people being separated from one another, people being unable to connect with the people they were used to, and so that meant that to be able to connect with people, or to be able to reach out to people, you needed to put yourself outside. You needed to put yourself in their shoes. You needed to think about how were they coping, how were they managing. There are people whose lives were usually around maybe community, around shopping, just so many things that were normal were no longer there. And so you could have someone just living by themselves without anyone to communicate with them. And when you just do something a little, even if it was just a wave, just this, just something to say hello, because with the masks, we couldn't even see smiles. So you needed to do something a bit more like, hello behind the muffled, whatever it was, something to just say, hey, I see you, which is very important. You don't know how important that is until you lose it. And we lost it for a while in that season.
Absolutely.
So I think that's definitely one of the ways that one could connect. And then after COVID, I don't know what it's like for other people, but I realized that it was almost like a kind of training where if you were not careful, the default would now be to just mind your business, just ignore everybody else, and just be used to, because you've covered your face for so long, you've kept yourself to yourself for so long. So it's that need to remember that there are other people, and to reach out and to connect with them, and to listen, and to just say, I see you. It makes a world of difference. And it made a world of difference during COVID for me and for the people around me. So I think it's something
one of the questions that has been tickling my brain is the fact that you mentioned rediscovering core values. Why did you mention? Why did you use the word rediscovering core values? What had we lost them? Had we not been using them the way we were supposed to? What was your logic behind using that word that way? I'm just wondering.
Well, so you know how we take life for granted. We take things for granted when we don't need to face it and ask ourselves what's really important to us. What COVID did was put us in a position where we had to ask ourselves what really matters to me. And that's why you find that a lot of people, I talk about jobs too, a lot of people left jobs that they were not happy with because they'd just been doing them because it's just the thing to do. How do you have a job? You have to do it, right? And then COVID now made them realize, wait, I don't have to do this. I can change the story. I can change the way I do things. I'd rather do this other thing. So let me just go and do it. And that's rediscovering your values. Like, what's important to me? I'm going to do it. I'm going to face what's important to me and stop putting that as a back burner. I think that's something that we should still carry with us even now. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So any regarding the power of collective, something that you prove it actually works. In my family, I can't get my three sisters to gather around and talk about the same thing, right? And there's only three of them. You got 10 people to discuss the same thing. So that was a challenging thing, and you turned that into something inspiring, because that is the topic of tonight's show, which is transforming challenges into inspiration. You are a publisher and successful at that, right? You're a publisher. You're a successful publisher, and when people want to write a book, they come to you, and you either help them write the book, or you help them become the proud bestseller of a book in your case in 14 countries and counting, specifically regarding this book. So how did you pull it off? that's I know it's probably one of your secrets. I don't know, but if you wish to share, what is your secret, brother?
No. So this book is, I guess, we've got 10 awards, I think 8 bestsellers and 2 hot new releases. There's Toulouse new book, Raging Waters, that's got 14 bestsellers, right? I don't know, look, an anthology is always a journey. A group book is always a journey. People, everyone sees the book, and they don't understand. They never know the drama that goes on with anthologies. All I can say is, I'm lucky to have a family of authors who were committed to the cause. We all were. See, for many of us, this is our first book. Tully's got 12 books, and I said this is book number 12 for Tully, right? For me, for Dr. Roxana, for Margaret, for Zion, this book is our dream, right? So I just focused on it must be done. It must be done at all costs. And there's we'll still every day we'll do more, right? Every day, so we're working on the website right now. So I mentioned the audio book, which obviously will involve you with the audio expertise, Cyrus. So all you can do is, I guess, be honest. Sometimes I'm harsh, but be honest and communicate with the family of authors I have. Saying my luck is that they all played ball. They're all keen for us to get the project done. So here we are. So no, we had hurdles. Don't get me wrong, right? But of course we had hurdles. But it's we've all worked to get this far. My thing was publish the book at all costs. I don't care. Even if the world burns down, I'm going to publish this book. There were too many dreams riding on the book to not publish it. I think don't forget, a group book it took us about a year to get the book written. That's a year of us writing, rewriting, editing, reading, making more changes. Also whilst we're trying to get on with our lives. So it's the challenge is part of the fun, my friend. With your sisters, I can't help you. Good luck with that. What can I say, right? A shared sense of purpose might bring everyone together.
Is that book released? Or I think it's available on Amazon now. Oh yes, it is.
It's Amazon as ebook and print book.
Oh yeah, and so let me share something with you guys. This is fantastic. I'm loving it. Okay.
You found some new tech.
Yeah. It's all about tech, brother. It's all about tech. Can you guys see my screen?
You can see your screen, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Tolu's amazing book. Okay. If anyone can see the screen, right?
Can you see the screen, guys?
Yeah. I can see the screen.
You can see the cover page, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, the price is, if you miss it just now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Amazon is has made a mistake with the price. If you want to buy the book, we're going to buy it now because the price is about $10 less than it should be. Less than it is. Yeah, because I'm seeing £4.83, something like that, Cyrus.
Yeah.
That's not the price. The price, the price is nearer 12.
Yeah, I'm getting this one. But if I'm not mistaken,
I'm getting this one. This is all right.
Oh yeah, at a very good price, man. There's something I wanted to ask Tolu. Let me bring Tolu to the screen here. Where is Tolu now? Yeah. Okay. So this image has been changed, I suppose, because I saw the early version, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I saw the earlier version, which was another version of this man running, and but the authors are still Kingsley and Tolupe Ekwe. So did I get it right or not?
All right. Have we lost Tolu? Actually fallen off? I hope not.
I'm not entirely sure.
I see what you see, Cyrus. The cover that we have is a different cover. The cover that we had is a different cover. If that makes sense.
Yeah. It was a different cover.
Yeah, the one I'm used to has a running man picking up. Basically there's a warrior running past another man who's on the floor, right?
Yes.
And I know what you mean.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
So,
okay. Right.
Yeah. So, guys, the book "Raging Waters" by Tolu has been released on Amazon. Well, apparently there's a mistake in terms of the price. It was supposed to be, I think, 14 something.
Yeah.
It's 483
something. Yeah.
Right now, it's the best time if you.
I don't know how it happened. We don't know what's gone wrong because we're telling Amazon, you know how this works, right?
Mm.
Yeah, basically, you go onto KDP.
Yeah.
And then you set your price.
Yeah.
Right, and then you press publish, and then it goes live.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how the ebook and the print book have become the same price? I'm astonished. I was on Tolu yesterday saying, "Hurry up, change it." I don't know what's happened. We'll sort it out sometime. Yeah, we'll sort it out sometime. If you can get it now, my friends.
There's a request on your screen now.
Michelle's my good friend.
Yeah, she's saying
coming, Michelle.
You haven't sent the autographed copy of COVID blessings.
It's coming. She knows it's coming as well. It's not that she doesn't know.
Did you promise her one?
Yes.
Yeah. So Michelle, Michelle Ramos, you're gonna get a signed copy.
Mm.
He just promised.
Yeah, it should definitely get a signed copy. That's always been the case. Yeah, it's always been the case. Hopefully, Tulu will come back. Yeah, sometimes connections do fall off, right?
Yeah, so, yeah. Absolutely. Internet sometimes lets us down. So it was another fantastic experience with you guys. It was phenomenal. I have been enjoying lessons we learned from COVID-19, and I'm learning, and we all are. And one of the most interesting things about this is that I'm learning more and more about the authors, the co-authors behind this book, and it's just interesting. You have gathered. It's like Ocean 10, Ocean 11, Ocean 12. I don't know.
11, yeah, whichever. Those
Yours
friends.
is Ocean 10. You have assembled a really capable group of people, and that was phenomenal. So, any closing comments, regarding lessons we learned from COVID-19?
I say no, thank you for the opportunity to come and talk about our book, and I say I always appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I never get bored, but I think for the very reason that you said, as a publisher, I've got to read everyone's stories over and over and over. An anthology requires, and every book requires constant editing every time you touch it, right? To make sure that we don't move anything out of place. So, and so every time we touch the book, every time we sent it back to the authors, someone found something to change. Invariably, the book came back again after that. That's what took us so long. That's part of the reason, right? So eventually, I did get to know, and this is why I appreciate all my co-authors, because I know they're all geniuses, because I've known the work they put in and their stories, and and I guess their will to impact people, their will to help people, their will to share and use their experience as inspiration for others. That's it. That's why I truly appreciate them. So, and for that reason alone, my friends, as Sarah says, which I'm grateful for, go and read the book. There's stories there, and if you look at us being, I guess you look at me, you look at Zion, you look at Tolu, Professor Roxana, Dr. Marcia, Audria, Nancy O'Neill, Chanda, Margaret Martinez. I'm saying if you look at us, then the book is the best thing you're gonna find that tells you who we truly are. Who are these people really? You might hear them, you might see them, but literally the book is the only way the book gives you more insight, and it tells you who's who, right? You really hear our stories in a way that we're never going to. People are not going to say online. People are not going to say everything that that you're going to find out in the book anywhere online. But then maybe last I'll say, Sarah, is look out for the website. Of course, you and I are back here again next weekend, right? Next Saturday. Eventually we will have a website which will be just for the book. Lessons we learned from COVID is a URL. We're just working on that now. And the plan, of course, is to make, to have pages about the book. And then each co-author has their own page where they can share their resources, their stories, and I guess the services, if you want to call it that, right? It's a long journey, which when you embark on writing a book, you must market the book. Your platform, like say your SPODCAST, is one good way to market the book. So the website is another one. We do events on LinkedIn. We do live streams. And we just keep trying to get the book out to everyone, right?
Michelle says,
yeah, it's a great song. Why not? Are you brave enough, Cyrus? Release a song. Release a song. Why not?
I think we should. I think we should after this.
For Christmas.
Yeah, definitely.
Try and make it like Christmas #1, right?
Absolutely. Speaking of songs, right? Those of you who are watching this show right now, and those of you, so it's live now, and those of you who will watch the show later on in the months and years to come, please remember, when a friend or family member of yours has published a book, support them, buy their book, because when you publish your book, when you publish your song, when you publish your work, whatever it might be, what is it that you need the most? Support.
Yeah,
that's what you need. Exactly, that's what you need. So we have created a community that is supporting each other, right? And today I'm buying Annie's book. Tomorrow he's buying my book, and everybody else is buying our book. And the story goes on and on and on. We support each other, okay? So life is like a party, right? So, and the things that happens around you is not always under your control, right? In this party, we're all busy dancing to other people's tunes, and the DJ is playing the songs, and you may not be dancing to your own favorite tunes, but keep dancing. Your song will come up. Keep dancing that beautiful dance, right? So I hope you guys have received that message of support, and I hope you feel you are being supported. If you need to create your podcast, or if you need to write your book, please come to me, come to Annie. And we have another podcaster in the room tonight, Angelica Corral, and she's a phenomenal podcaster and videographer herself. Yes, she's a legend in what she does.
And she has a book out. So she has her kids book out as well.
Oh yeah, she's an author as well, guys. I think she's got 3 or 4 books, if I'm not mistaken.
I know of 2 of them, but her latest one is A Pride and Joy. Max, it's Max's Treasure Quest.
Oh yeah, Max's I was trying to remember that. You beat me to it. Now I'm gonna play lessons we learned from COVID-19 one last time before we bring the show to an end, guys.
Yeah. Look, I will thank everyone who's been here, right? Everyone who's spent the time with us, Michelle, Jasmine. There's 2 Michelles, Christiana, Miss Angelica. I could carry on. So there's lots of lovely people here. We do appreciate you joining us. We really do. Thank you so much. And thank you, of course, Cyrus. Thank you, Jasmine.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Jasmine, let's not forget Jasmine. So we're going to play one more thing here before we finish. Okay. Oh, yeah. One of our sponsors.
No power greater than love. Imagine, what if there was a world beyond what we can see? What if our dreams were not just dreams? What if there is a place where we can live and love in peace and harmony? What if a science fiction romance wasn't fiction? Get ready to lose yourself with Lee and Van in a romantic adventure that up to now was just a fantasy. You will discover love has no boundaries. Explore the complexities of connections that span across galaxies and the heartwarming reminder of the power of love. Leslie Flowers has been blazing trails for the business leaders for decades, leveraging the laws of achievement and timeless success. Principles. Already an acclaimed writer, her new book invites you to explore what could be. With a passion for exploring the human condition and the mysteries of the universe, Leslie invites you to come along on this interstellar journey that will stay with you long after you finish the last page.
We like that.
Yeah, that's Leslie Flowers' fantastic book, The Possibility of Irada. And she's worked 2 decades for this book. She put 2 decades worth of over 2 decades worth of experiences in this book. People who write books, guys, they are fantastic people with fantastic personalities. Support the authors in our community, and we have one more song to play here.
We know the customers you love and your favorite trends. Your digital is here, where your advertising friends will boost your social views with a trendy blend. With Jasmine Ofori guiding you, your success will never end.
I can't hear you. We can't hear you.
We'll boost your social views with a trendy blend. With Jasmine Ofori guiding you, your success will never end. We know the customers you love and your favorite trends. Your digital is here, where your advertising friends will boost your social views with a trendy blend. With Jasmine Ofori guiding you, your success will never end.
Jasmine Ofori is our fantastic sponsor, and she has helped us put this show together. And also, let's not forget any Osong's company is behind the success of lessons we learned from COVID-19 and many other books. Paulette Hallam's books have been promoted by Annie Osong, and Raging Waters by Tolu also has been is being advertised by Annie. Also, Jasmine just posted, thank you for the beautiful song. Yeah, your song is one of the most beautiful ones that I've created. I'm not supposed to say this about my own songs, but I really love that song. So we've got Tolu who just returned to the screen. I'm not sure if you guys can see Tolu.
Oh, well, we can see. I can see something, but you have to make the image. You have to bring the avatars big again, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Tolu, if you can hear us, please let us know. Tolu, please unmute.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. The lighting here is not. I can't get
It's
the light
okay.
And I'm glad to lose back.
Yes, Tolu, could you please talk to us about your new book a little bit, please?
Oh wow, yeah, so I'm super excited. I was telling Annie recently that, or I think was it today, I realized it was just in 3 months that we had done 2 bestsellers. That's amazing. So just last week, my husband and I so we'd written this book, right? Raging Waters. It's a novel and it's about infidelity in marriage. and other things, but that's essentially the theme. We wrote that about a year ago, and the plan was to launch it online sometime this year, but we didn't
Did
really
you
have
did
a
you guys,
specific.
did you guys
Sorry?
write one chapter? Did you guys write chapters each, or is it kind of amalgamated into each other?
Yeah, it's amalgamated. So we would sit and brainstorm on how to put the story together, and okay, why don't we make it this way, and why don't we make her
Did,
do
did you
this?
did you tell him what to write, or did you let him choose what he wants to write? I'm only joking.
No, I wouldn't. Funny enough, okay, good question. No. Well, how? Okay, so he said, he would say his own parts, and I would, okay, I did some of the writing down, if it's the writing down you're asking about. But we put it together, and at the end of the day, like he was saying, I had to run with it because at some point he got too busy and just, couldn't finish it up. So I kind of finished it up and got it out. But I'm very
Yeah,
excited.
that's how men normally. That's how men cook in the kitchen. Like they
Yes,
start it,
very true.
and
Very true. And they make a big mess, and then you have to clean it up. Yes.
and then he shouts you, Tolu, can you come to the kitchen and sort it out?
You know, you
I'm kind of
sound very
stuck in the
experienced,
middle of
Cyrus. I'm starting to wonder. So yeah, but that's it. And I'm just so glad that we met Annie, through LinkedIn, and got
yeah.
this done. And yeah, and it's a bestseller in 4 different markets.
Oh, amazing, amazing.
Yeah,
Tell me, then, what would people get out of
yeah.
reading this book? What problem does it solve?
So it helps people. I'm hoping, and we're hoping that it helps people to see the to recognize the dangers of infidelity and to see it before it happens. To see it coming and avoid it before it happens, because it causes so much damage to so many lives. Marriages get hurt, individuals get hurt, sometimes children get hurt because of this. And many times people don't really just see it like a harmless thing until it starts to ravage their lives. So if it can be avoided, it will be really good. And I think that's something this
Oh,
book helps you to see it, to recognize the signs, and
yeah.
to see it for what it really is.
So, Raging Waters is about recognizing the patterns of infidelity,
Yes.
and
Yes.
so has the reason for divorce has been mentioned in this book as well, or is it
Hmm.
just things leading to divorce?
So divorce is really a choice, right? Because
Mm,
when infidelity happens, I know
mhm.
we've even had these discussions in audio rooms as well. For many
Yeah,
people, it seems like the only option is divorce. Like, what else can we do? It's over. But
yeah,
sometimes there are different circumstances. There are people who should we say fall into they didn't plan it, and somehow something happens. There are people
yeah.
who mean well, who don't intend to hurt their spouse, but then something goes wrong and all that. And there is room for redemption, there's room for forgiveness, there's room for healing. It's something that we need to at least consider, rather than just assume that you have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's not
Oh, yeah.
always, yeah, it's not always like that. And sometimes we
What
need
a
to also,
beautiful analogy. I love that.
yeah, sometimes we need to think, what if it was me? And I know many times we are on this self-righteous, pedestal where no, I could never do that. But we all can, given the right circumstances, do something wrong. So we need to be able to extend grace to one another too.
Absolutely. For those of us who just joined the show, We are talking about Raging Waters, which is now Tolu's and Tolu's husband's most recent book. And what's your husband's name again? Sorry.
Kingsley.
Kingsley. Okay. So Kingsley and Tolu wrote this book, and it's about learning the patterns of infidelity. Sometimes if you understand infidelity is happening or is about to happen, it can give you the heads up and give you enough time to react, to find out what the root cause is. Maybe you could resolve it. A marriage is a partnership, and sometimes partnerships do dissolve, which they shouldn't, by the way. And sometimes they do get dissolved because individuals involved in it forget about the why, the initial why they got together in the first place. And the guy forgets about the fact that he pursued the partner for ages and then convinced them to marry him, right? The woman sometimes forgets why said yes to that guy to begin with, right?
Exactly.
So gone are those days when people thought that the main reason for divorce is marriage. The old way. Those days are well gone now. So
Well, it still is.
there is a root cause for everything, right? So this book, Raging Waters, today's session was about Tolu Ekwe's book. I mean, not her, but the book she has been a co-author in, which is called Lessons We Learned from COVID-19. But because of the fact that Raging Waters has been released, what a beautiful name you've chosen for it as well, Raging Waters. It's so befitting. Okay, so for those of you who didn't know, this is Tolu's I think 12th book or 13th book.
14th, actually.
14th.
Raging Waters is 14th. Yeah.
It's the 14th one, yeah. And I know people who haven't bought 14 books, and then we have you who's written 14 books. That is fantastic. Oh, Michelle says, what a beautiful name. Absolutely. And Tolulope is also a beautiful name. Speaking of beautiful names, Tolulope means praise belongs to God. If I'm not, thanks. Giving belongs to God. So I just wanted to say congratulations to you and your co-author Kingsley, your husband.
Thank you.
And even your marriage is like a book that you two are writing chapter after chapter after chapter. And what a beautiful partnership between you and Kingsley. So again, congratulations on your success. When I say success, I'm talking about being a co-author in Lessons We Learned COVID-19, which is a best-selling 14 not one, not two, not three, but 14 countries. And that is not something that you hear every day. And I'm really glad you got involved in this with Ennio Song. And the thing about Ennio Song is you can't be involved in his circle and not succeed at something, right?
Right.
So is there any closing comments, Tolu, before we finish the show regarding lessons we learned from COVID-19?
Okay, I feel like this needs to be said. I believe my faith is very important to me, and I believe that God gave us another chance, and He didn't have to. and there's nothing that puts us in better stead than the people who lost their lives. I don't think that we are better people, or we are more qualified, or we are more careful, or anything like that. I think there's just maybe there's an assignment, there's something we need to do that we haven't finished and that we need to focus on. And so I don't think we should take lightly the opportunity to still be alive. And maybe if for those who don't think that there's a God, I think maybe you should take a second look and just look again. Just maybe he's trying to get your attention. Because I think that's one of the things I took away from COVID-19 is, okay, Lord, let's go. Let's do this together. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Guys, please remember, COVID lessons we learned from COVID-19 is available on Amazon, and Raging Waters, Tolu's the most recent book, is also available on Amazon. Please purchase. It's before Christmas, guys. Please remember, purchase 2 at least. Purchase 2. One for yourself, one for somebody you care about. If you want to help them with learning something new and help them become a better person, a better version of themselves, please definitely buy 1 copy for them as well, and gift them 1 copy. So any closing comments?
I love Raging Waters. I love the message. I love the fact that Tolu is passionate about the fact that we can repair our relationships, and we can not just repair but create better relationships. I think that's a lesson for all of us. We're all human, right? And the book is on Amazon. It's screwing with the price, so it's a quarter of the price of what the print book should be right now. So you can, you literally can buy 3 or 4 for the same price of 1. And Amazon corrects the price. Tolu, I don't know whether you saw that the price is still $4.83 on the front of Amazon. But what can we do, right? Today's your chance. Buy as many copies as you can. Again, support the books. I support Tolu and her husband, and I think that you truly learn something, and you find a benefit in there that you may not expect to find. We say we're all human. Infidelity is a thing. Temptation is a thing, right? We're not going to agree with being unfaithful, my friends. I say I'm with you. Up until recently, Paulette and I simple messages. Someone cheats, essentially, chop off their bits. But Toulouse, made me come around to realize that. So the whole point of the book is to see, like you say, Cyrus, the reasons why we got to where we got to. And so what can we do to fix that things or those things to have a better relationship than we had before? It is possible. People do it every day, right? That's the joy of Tolu's book. And life's all about growing. Life's all about learning that there are better ways. Would I be annoyed? Of course I would. Would I be disappointed, hurt? Yes, we will are. But this is part of the lessons that we have to learn to not cheat, to not become that person who does break up the family. But more important, like I say, it's to recognize the signs, fix the problems, and have a better relationship. Hopefully before it gets infidelity. But certainly, there's still a place to find the joy in our relationships, even if the worst does happen. That's my understanding.
It's fantastic. Thank you. Before we finish, guys, I wanted to read a little bit of lessons we learned from COVID-19, if it's okay. One major effect of the reduced movement caused by COVID-19 restrictions was weight gain. Was I comfort eating to manage the stress, or was my body burning fewer calories due to the reduced physical activity? I was not sure. To stay physically fit, I joined an online exercise class on Zoom. The instructor was a civil engineer. I wanted to see results fast. He asked me to use a jump rope and skip 500 jumps, though I told him I had only ever done 200 at a stretch. My knee ligament let me know of its existence with an excruciating pain and led me to the most painful injections ever of protein-rich plasma instilled in my knee joint. Exercise was over. I just wanted to be able to walk properly. Fat people are people too, right? We had started taking the supplements, zinc tablets and vitamin C tablets. We took, I'll let you read the rest of it for yourself, guys. Lessons we learned from COVID-19. Phenomenal book. And it's really, really interesting. You learn about leadership, you learn about resilience, you learn about a lot of things in this book. Annie, thank you so much for creating this book with your co-authors. And I'd like to thank all of our guests across all platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. And thank you so much for your participation in the chat. I do apologize if I didn't get a chance to show all of your comments, but I tried my best to show your comments as much as I could. Thanks for being a part of this community and a part of this, and the most important part of this show. And I wish you guys a lovely day, lovely morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are based. And one last time, Lessons We Learned from COVID-19 is available on Amazon. Please buy your own copy. Thank you so much, and I wish you all a lovely time. Thank you. Stay well.